Hello, hello. It is the one and only 5D Transformations, and we're here. And in this video, I wanted to talk about something that's very important, very powerful. And what it really boils down to is uh, hypnotism, right? And understanding that on one level, programming your mind to become more successful and to attract new things is actually it's hypnotism to a degree. And I want you to understand hypnotism is very powerful. And one of the most important things to understand about hypnotism, right? Uh, some people are spooky about it, but hypnotism is something people use for a lot of different things: healing, relaxation, getting over fears, certain depressions, phobias. People use it to program themselves for successful things, quitting things like smoking and stuff like that. A lot of different things people use it for. Athletes for performance, things like that. But think about it. When we talk about visualization, people always say that's super important. Symbols, symbols program the minds, symbols and repetition. And people always say imagine, imagining yourself doing the things that you want to do in the way it makes you feel. But the hard part is we go, well, that's just in my head, that's not in real life. Like as soon as you open your eyes and you're dealing with the real world, it's throwing challenges at you, different blocks and things you got to move through, and it gets tough. Everybody has their own challenges, we can all agree there. But the key thing to understand is with hypnotism, the whole goal is not for you to imagine a place necessarily for you to go to forever, right? Or some place to escape to. It's not about escapism. What it's actually doing is it's consistently programming you so that you can begin to shift your experience and get used to a new experience. So even though visualization is one aspect of it, what the real aspect of it is the hypnotic aspect to it. And here's what I mean. Like when it comes to hypnotism, you want to calm the body down. You want to relax, right? One thing you'll notice is one thing that is synonymous when you think about hypnotism in the process of putting somebody in a hypnosis, they have to relax. They have to take deep inhales and exhales in terms of the breathing. So there's a meditative element to it and a deep breathing element to it. There's that meditative side that's meant to calm the body down, make the mind feel empty, right? And relax and let go. And that process alone is so powerful. I mean, because what you're doing is you're practicing the art of letting the ego disattaching from the ego, right? Finding a way to separate from your pressures, even for that little moment of time. You're creating the gap to separate yourself from that frequency and vibration that might be ruling your experience for that moment. So now, because what you're essentially doing is you're frequency shifting and you're going into a new frequency. And here's how you know, because when people get into a deep state during hypnosis, they get into a different alpha state in their mind. I'm not sure which state it is. I don't know if it's alpha or whatever, but like alpha brain waves, those waves kick in, and that's what happens. We start to fall asleep. We start to go into a different frequency pattern in our mind as we start to shift into sleep, which makes things easily suggestible during that point in time. So that's why somebody can slip in something and the person will do it, right? Just like people can end up in an unconscious state. For example, people you might be too drunk, people who blacked out before when they were too drunk, or people who were sleepwalking, right? You're still hearing information and can act out on it, but your consciousness is right below the point of being aware, but things are still slipping into the mind. So unfortunately, this is going on all the time without our control. But in the act of hypnosis and programming your mind, you're putting in these thoughts while you're in this relaxed state. You're constantly programming yourself with these thoughts. That's putting you in a different state. So during hypnosis, let's say you're somebody that wants to be wealthy, and right now you're poor, quote unquote. You're gonna listen to a frequency that, like, imagine you're walking into a huge home and it's yours. Imagine you pull the keys out of your pocket, right? And imagine that the mailbox has your name on it. And imagine you walk in and you look around and you see two spiral staircases, beautiful furniture laid out exactly how you would imagine, a pool in the back, and the sun is out. What's going on? I'm now creating a physical experience that I can be in. And you notice what it does is it makes you start to feel better, right? And so you start to feel like you align with this better experience, but then you're also dealing with your physical experience when you wake up out of that state, right? Well, that's good, because the duality you're starting to feel now is starting to go, this feels good. This doesn't feel like it aligns with me. And now you're starting to create the shift. That polarization is now pushing you apart from your current experience, because now you're seeking something else. And the more you program yourself for those things, the more you'll begin to find those things in your life. And one thing with hypnotism, right, is that when you're in that state, you start to realize that you're getting the same feeling for the most part. Like, people are delaying their lives to get to this end game that they can experience right now. You know what I mean? And it begins to show the power of your inner world. You might not have $1 million, but what is it like to feel like a millionaire and move like a millionaire without the million? It's the frequency you're experiencing. And that's what everyone has to realize, the importance of frequency. And I think a good way for you to view frequency, that like this is a way I've learned recently, is not to look at frequency and vibration as like some things in the air floating. And instead, you have to understand frequency is very real. It's a thick wave band that exists in the sky. And a perfect way to look at it is if you put your headphones in and listen to music, right? And I'm somebody who I work in music, I do engineering, that's something else I do. I'm a musician, so that's what I do. I make music. So with that, there's been times where if it gets too loud in your ear and the frequency is too loud, it sounds chaotic and horrible and awful. Like one time, it was so loud in my ear by an accident. Something happened where like the mic was close to the speaker or something, and it was so loud it felt like a hellish state. Just by the frequency of the noise, it felt hellish. And then I noticed when I listen to very light, beautiful melodies or songs that you love, you feel this level of feeling inside that can be close to heaven sometimes. And what I began to see was, oh, that's frequency right there. There's a frequency so powerful. Like imagine if you was in a room, I don't even want you to imagine this, but just the reality is like if you was in a room where they played this screeching, horrible music so loud, it consumed you. At that point, you could literally die. Like you can be in a state of where you can't move. Like there's frequencies so powerful, they can put you in a state where you can't move. There's frequencies of fear that are so powerful where they can put you in a state where you can't move, where you're debilitated. And then there's states of power and strength that are so powerful, the whole place can feel it. So there's a wave of energy that comes off of us that alters the physical environment. So you might not physically see it, but if you imagine when you have a bad day, walk around, people can sense it on you. When you're having an amazing day and you feel like a winner, people can pick it up on you. So imagine if you started your day and you chose the frequency to operate from and went out into the day with that frequency, you're going to start attracting similar frequencies. So I know people explain this in different ways, but this is the way I wanted to explain it, because frequency essentially creates shapes in situations. Frequency and vibration create shapes. And so if you're moving around with a certain frequency and vibration, you're going to create an experience for yourself. And so the hypnotism that you do is creating the shapes within so that you can move out into the world and begin to shape the outer world in that similar way. And the stronger your vibration is internally, the stronger it's going to be shifting things externally. And so we got to start putting more attention on our vibrational state internally, because that's really what shapes the outside. And before we do work, before we go to work, before we have to do, create, and then do. And then you'll be doing things from a different level. And so with that being said, if we go back to hypnotism, that's what it's about. Being able to relax the state of the body. Take your deep breaths, get into that very relaxed state. and then imagine yourself in the places that you want to be, doing the things you want to do. And what you'll find is, and also just saying things to make you feel good, repeating things that make you feel good. You notice when you're doing hypnotism, repetition is important. The person that's putting that person through that hypnotic state will repeat certain words, or they might say, when I say this word, you're going to feel 10 times better. Or when I do this, you're going to, feel as though your feet are bolted to the ground where they can't move or whatever. So that goes to show you, this is another thing I want you to know. In the state of relaxation is the best state to create and to experience things. So a lot of the time people try to meditate or get into a certain state, but they're feeling bad. Well, don't just try to shift from feeling this way to that way. That's why it doesn't work. And that's why people have a hard time. Instead, focus on relaxing the body first, taking deep breaths, getting into a state of relaxation. And then when you get into that state of relaxation is where you now begin to create the new ideas that put you in that new vibration, that new frequency. Now you can create. You have to start from the 0 point and then build up. You can't be at -5 and then try to go to 5. You got to go from -5 to 0, then you can move to 5. And from there, you got the keys for success. Because I don't want you to be one of these people who are constantly chasing that moment externally, and they're missing that it's already within them. And that actually they'll get there faster if they focus on what's already within them. Because people want to align with people who are abundant. They don't want to align with people who come from a place of lack. And so by feeling full within, you attract people to you because they want to feel full within, and they're wondering, they want to connect with your frequency and vibration because it shapes things into positive and powerful and beautiful things. If you could shape the things within you and shape your ideas and your visions to be positive and beautiful and powerful, when you meet people, you'll be able to shape their minds into that same place. And then they leave conversations with you and be like, man, I'm feeling amazing. And they don't even know why. And that's what you call doing the work. You know what I mean? And a series of continuing to do that, watch what happens in your life in the next couple months, in the next month, in the next week, the things that happen. All right. So that's my message to you all. Make sure to get on the Patreon. Very powerful information on there. I got the Pyramidian coaching program on there. And then, you can always support. Then if you would like some personal coaching, you can reach out to me at your5dtransformations@gmail.com. And then finally, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's just bring it to the basics, man. We're trying to continue to build the page so I can start doing some lives, man, and things like that. I really want to give you all that deeper game. And it's really coming because, I've gone through such a powerful, transformative time over this winter. And I was already accelerating at a fast pace for a long time. But now it feels as though we got some really exciting game to give you all, a lot of different levels of growth and information that honestly I didn't find online or didn't find in a book. This came from going deep into the mysteries of life. And so with that being said, I appreciate you all listening, man. Once again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. It's the one and only. Peace.